friends, thank you so much for staying with us this event. We move on to the next segment of our conference, which is really, when we think about the pandemic and the kind of impact that has had on children all over the world. And we want to make sure that this move to online or hybrid doesn't leave anyone behind. And actually, the community that has had the most fiercest is categorized as special educational needs. And so today, I'm pleased to bring in front of you Matthew Granados from the Swiss Cottage Research and Development Center and Swiss Cottage School in London, and Theresa Martus from the US. Both of you are going to be sharing your thoughts with Saba shortly. But before you do that, I wanted to make sure that everyone got a better understanding of your practice and how you think about it. So welcome, Tree, welcome, Matt. We'll have an opportunity to hear from you in a second. But until then, I want everyone to actually note what you're saying in this very short clip that you recorded for us in advance.
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be speaking to you guys today. My name is Matt Granados and I'm a teacher and middle leader at Swiss Cottage School in London. We are a school with learners from the age of 2 to 19 with many complex SEND profiles. Today I'm going to be speaking about ensuring equity and inclusion in online environments. In this first clip, you'll see a learner developing their communication skills, requesting a clip from the internet to watch. So that's a audio visual clip that they're motivated by and that they're requesting using their high-tech AAC. With this clip, it's really important to take a note of just how much time Hannah, our team member, gives the learner to make a decision about what choice she's going to make.
Luna? Jeez, what you want to see?
My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
My Little Pony.
Hi! I finished up the work I had to do, so
What shall we choose to watch? Tell me.
Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book, okay. Here's the Jungle Book.
And the second video that you're going to see is the learner enjoying the physio activity, which we've combined with some OT targets there.
What would be amazing, just to work on, because we sort of work on Luna's balance and things, if you get maybe the puzzle pieces, the bright puzzle pieces, sort of put some on the table, and then sort of maybe drop some on the floor. And then if you sort of stand up with Luna, obviously careful of her head and the table and things, but getting her to sort of pick some of them up.
A point that I really want to make is just how important a dynamic multi-sensory approach has been to our online learning environment. It's really produced the best outcomes. For instance, using physio plans and OT plans, incorporating those into a learning session, it's helped energize a learner in the middle of the half an hour session, for instance. Likewise, it might help expel some energy.
Tanya, can I ask you?
Yeah.
Push some further away from the table, kind of near the island in the kitchen, just so she doesn't hold on to the table, because we've been practicing her bending without holding anything on.
Okay.
That's it, bend. Hooray, superstar, good girl, you have 2.
Another point I'd really like to make is just how important Vygotsky's zone of proximal development has been in really ensuring inclusion and equity in our online learning environments. It really helps personalize the scaffolding and support that's required for each learner in each different activity within the session. So it's really important to have that at the back of our minds. It's also really important to assume competence with each activity. So we're not providing too much support or scaffolding where it's not needed.
Listen. What do you hear? I hear elephant.
Elephant.
What do you hear?
Elephant.
Elephant. Superstar.
So in order to maximize progress for our online learning environment, I found the engagement scale to be particularly impactful. It's really helped assess progress during each session and to be able to work out just how engaged the learners are and how much we need to increase difficulty levels or increase scaffolding or reduce the challenge to ensure progress in the next session. It really encourages a pupil-centered reflection to encourage their deeper learning with each activity.
Hello, my name is Theresa Martus, and I'm a librarian with the Charlotte Mecklenburg Library. As part of the work I do, I am a member of the Exceptional Experiences team that provides programming for patrons of all ages and all developmental levels, living with various physical limitations, neurodevelopmental issues, as well as Alzheimer's and dementia. The work we do is very hands-on. And so with the pandemic, we needed to transition hands-on to virtual. We began using the library's e-resources as well as materials within our own home and print materials to create content for the library's YouTube channel and for Zoom for specific groups. To this end, we incorporated 5 strategies. The first strategy was talking, verbal communication using the chat feature, or patrons using assistive devices to speak with us is a great way to open the lines of communication. Second, we utilized reading. We're librarians. We use the library's e-resources as well as print resources in fiction and nonfiction to combine these 2 elements to create real-world context. The third thing we did was we wrote. This may be simply coloring or drawing, but it involved anything tactile. We were working from our homes, and so were our participants. So beans, scarves, whatever you may have on hand, anything to create a tactile sensation, to create context and meaning. Fourth, we sang. Music is a gateway to communication. And so we clapped, we stomped, we sang, we listened to YouTube videos. We made beautiful music together. Fifth, we played. And for us, play was everything and anything to create meaning. We did anything that involved action, interaction, and movement. Quizzes, trivia, we even did yoga. All of this was done in the effort to ask, answer questions. Because when you ask a question, it leads to more questions, and questions lead to learning. And so to summarize, I'm going to share with you a brief PowerPoint that'll encapsulate all of this. As I mentioned, I'm a member of the Exceptional Experiences team. We use library-based digital content to create videos for YouTube and Zoom for specific groups. We show an understanding of developmental levels and needs. We utilize digital as well as physical content. We ask questions and create connections to the world. We do this through talking, reading, writing, singing, and playing. Our success is in the stories we hear and the smiles we see. Thank you so much for your time today.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. You know, I was watching both of you share, and the really big takeaway for me was the engaging strategies you're using, like the gains you're seeing, the strategies you're using, and what was it? 77% of the teachers here said that they feel like they've become better instructors over the course of the past year. So I'm curious to hear from you, because we have so many teachers on here right now listening, and so many of them are hearing learning loss. And I think so many people right now are trying to think about, like, how do we reframe this conversation? We see teachers like the ones that are here today. We see engaging strategies like the ones you've been using. I'm curious to hear from you what advice you would give to teachers around that topic, given, especially because your focus was literacy a lot. Like, what advice you two would share in that context?
So, so I would say that what I found really helpful is looking at, I think in the States you call them IEPs, in the UK we call them EHCPs, really looking at the targets and what would be most beneficial for the learners at home. So there's some things that work on a lot better at school, but then really utilizing that home setting and really forwarding their life skills and their personal care skills and things. And so reframing, as you say, sort of how we look at that. And though some things may not be ticked and you might not get and see the progress that you'd hope, but then in others, you've seen great progress. And when the learners have come back, it's been fantastic. And then we see it in a different context at school as well. So it's sort of reframing how we look at their plans and what we can maximize and utilize using the home setting. That's particularly helped for me.
Yeah, and that's what we found as well, is just utilizing whatever they might have in their homes, because I'm coming from a slightly different background with being a librarian, where we're just dealing with, people from all walks of life, essentially. They're not, signed up to a particular school or anything. So we're just looking to see how can we use something within their daily life that will help them keep a connection to the larger world, so that it's creating context constantly, so that they are able to move ahead with whatever developmental strategy they might be working on with their teachers or caregivers.
Thank you. Yeah, no, and I love how you've both highlighted that there are some things that they're going to be, they're going to have made, huge strides in, and there are other things where they may be struggling, and how we sort of balance that reminds me, it's sort of a nice connection between what Ross shared earlier and what you two are sharing, and how we can leverage these resources together. Welcome back, Vikas.
Hi. Sorry, I thought you were directing a question to Tree and Matt, who are definitely the experts. I really loved what both of you said. And given the opportunity we were trying to present at the Teacher Tech Summit was to make sure that no kids are left behind, would you say that children with special needs have been left behind in this time? I'd love to get your perspective, first to Tree and then to Matt.
It has been hard. Because even with our school system here that I'm familiar with, a lot of the students just did not go back, even when they started back with the online education, because you just never knew what was going to be a good day, what was going to be a bad day. And so I've heard that from some of the schools I work with, but it has still not stopped people like myself, the librarians that I work with, as well as the school systems, from constantly reaching out, because we want to let people know that even if they're not in something formal right now, because so many people aren't, that there are still resources out there that they can utilize at any time. And that's why one of our first creations was the YouTube videos. Before we even sought to work with specific groups, because we wanted to make sure anybody could tap in at any time.
Thank you so much. And Matt?
Yeah, well, so it's a brilliant question. I think that what's been really helpful for us is that there may be some targets that we may move quicker with back at school, just on site.
but it's really allowed the opportunity to generalize and get a real deeper learning of some previous targets, but in the home context. So while we might not be moving on as quickly as we'd like, really consolidating all of that great learning that did happen at school, but with families and at the home.
Well, thank you both very much for taking the time to be with us today at this Teacher Tech Summit. There are some incredible comments which I just can't keep up with because the flow is just so quick on this back end that say, thank you so much for your ideas, because this is a really critical subject. So I appreciate you being with us, and thank you so much for coming along today. And we look forward to the next opportunity.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's been amazing.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you both.